Hey, I'm Raina.
I'm Cass.
And we're Wine and React.
Welcome back to the channel.
Long
guys.
time no see. So we're here.
Girls are back.
Yes, we are.
Girls are back.
Girls are back in town. So we're here to give a short review on a new film that just came out.
Everyone's talking about it. We had to watch it.
Yes, Sinners.
Mhm.
Ooh.
Mhm.
So it was a lot, and I think overall we really liked it. But Cassandra, start us off. What did you think? Thoughts?
Okay.
Suggestions?
I would
Complaints?
Okay, I'll start by saying that I have very few complaints. The big standouts for me. What's her name? Oh my god.
Who?
The woman I love from Lovecraft Country.
Wumi Masako?
Wumi Masako. Cheers to Wumi Masako. I loved her in Lovecraft Country. She was a phenomenal actress, and I think that her character carried, I'm not going to say the film, not that her character was very significant, great, maybe carried Michael B. Jordan.
One of the Michael B. Jordan characters.
One of the Michael B. Jordan characters, right? The music, phenomenal. I love the music. I love the choreography in certain scenes. And the biggest standout was just the fact that Michael B. Jordan actually turned out to be a good actor in this one.
Yeah.
So.
And this is not like shade or anything like that.
Shade.
I would love to have a game night with him. Very, very wholesome young man. Don't care for him all the time in the Marvel universe. I think that sometimes it could just be
he's not a good actor.
A hee ha ha, but like it's unconvincing.
Mm-hmm.
But I was very convinced in this context. I believed his characters.
Yes. Sometimes, like even in the Marvel ones, it feels like, you know, one of those people that just gain enough of a following that you're not relying on their skill to be able to pull off whatever that you've signed them up for. It's more so you want more eyes on the project, and this is someone who has a large following, and so you're going to throw them in there.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of his roles feel like to me. And it's something that highlights that he's not a good actor.
Oh my gosh! I don't know. We're not coming for him because I feel like listen. The fact that he even got to the level that he did in this film, it was a vast improvement.
He played two characters.
Yeah. So that was a lot
two
for
characters. So he balanced that off very well. I felt like raw emotion in certain scenes.
I did too.
Spoiler alert, by the way, in case you didn't. Spoiler alert. I felt raw, genuine emotion coming from him. I honestly would have never thought he could step up to the challenge of playing two roles in the same movie.
I agree.
But he did it, and he did it very well.
Yeah, very seamless.
Yeah.
And you know what? It goes to show that sometimes acting is sometimes about a good fit. I think that sometimes actors have to connect with the context of the role, of the material, and maybe something resonated with this film.
Yeah.
And the backstory with him.
Yeah, maybe.
I think that was a possibility because I was like, this is a Michael B. Jordan we're not seeing. This is
exactly.
You know, so good for him. Shout out to him for that in that context.
And it was one of the roles where I feel like he wasn't just thrown in because of muscles. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean they helped.
They help, but they're not enough.
But they're not a help. They're not enough for a role. But like, they helped in the context. So,
they get more eyes on the film.
Yeah,
whatever. And he was honestly, I was like, this is the first time I was like, Michael.
It was good. It was
Michael.
It was a good.
Michael.
We're done. Aside from Michael B. Jordan, the obvious.
Yes.
Notable characters.
The guy that played Little Preacher.
Samuel's character. Good actor. Is he British?
Singer. I have no idea. I've never heard of him, but I feel like I've heard him sing before. Mm-hmm. I'm wondering whether he's a singer. We'll look into that. Yeah, he could be an artist, but beautiful voice. It just was fit with the blues, and the blues was just part of the theme of this movie in general, but his voice went so well with the blues.
Yeah, it went. I think his character was solid.
Yeah.
I like the backstory about how he was essentially trying to fight his own personal interest, his desire, and then balancing like his father's wishes, and then there being like a religious undertone with everything.
Oh
I
my
liked it.
gosh,
I
the
really
religious
liked
undertone. Nothing spilled. We're fine.
that. It's just you got to talk some nonsense. That's
The religious undertones, the outside of the mythical stuff that was introduced, the historical accuracy of certain things that they highlighted was very impressive to me.
I agree.
I think from the beginning of the movie, you know, right before you kind of getting into like the nitty gritty of the plot twist and what's, you know, the action build up, they lay the foundation of what it actually would be like, feel like, to be in 1932 Mississippi as a sharecropper. I feel like that was laid out very well, and they got the sense of community, they got the quality of life, they got the
Cultural diffusion.
Yes.
There were like immigrants that were now integrated in a lot of like everyday life, and how that worked out.
Exactly. So shout out to the writer and the director, producer for that. And then they had a hoodoo woman be, in terms of religion, right? You had the hoodoo woman.
Yes.
Who was Smokey's lover, wife.
Yes.
Right? Lover, wife. It was Smokey. I'm sorry. It was Smokey and Stag were the twins.
Yeah.
Okay. Stack.
Stack and Smoke.
Stack and Smoke. Okay. So you had the hoodoo woman who kind of tied back to ancestral spirituality and just African roots, right? That was represented. You had Christianity from Samuel's father, and that was a huge theme. You had, this is a complaint.
Yeah,
the Native Americans.
Okay, I was gonna say the Native Americans too. I feel we could have. Those could have been like more. They're flushed out characters.
Yes.
I felt like
or flushed out story in general. Like
that could have been great because it was clear that they knew more than everybody else.
Yes,
they knew
exactly
that everybody was. You know, there were vampires.
Yes.
That they were after. And like clearly there's a level of like maybe mysticism or their own spiritual beliefs that connected to that. But it was like they were here for a second and they were gone.
Yes.
Like I didn't care for that. I felt like they could have integrated them more into the plot.
Yeah, so we got a little glimpse of that, but I felt like that was coming from a cultural, spiritual, and religious place, right?
And then even the vampires, they had their own religion.
Their own belief system that they were trying to push.
That aligned with some other stuff. So
I loved seeing that. I loved seeing that. And then something I think that just doesn't get touched on enough in film and media is African religion, beliefs, practices, how it weaves itself into African American culture, Southern African American culture, and the role it played in African American lives, you know, during the late 1800s, during the early 1900s, and so forth. So it was beautiful seeing that, especially the way that they went about it, because it went from it came from a very protectionist perspective. It was very protectionist practice that she was doing, so that was very fascinating to me.
Outside of that, I think I really appreciated the contrast of the brothers.
Yeah.
Caretaker.
Yeah. And the other one was like more blunt and immature.
Yeah. And they kind of had their way, and they were both super, I guess, integral in their own businesses, you know, their own like lifestyle and business, because they were clearly criminals doing shenanigans, and that took them, you know, far enough for, you know, I guess the context of the film. Who did I really appreciate? Yeah, I think that everybody just had their own unique contribution to the film. Even down to the drunkard who was the pianist. He was great.
His character
He was great.
was dark and beautiful. Just
Older actor.
I love
name,
that man.
Name doesn't come to me, but he's been in a lot of
Say it.
pieces.
Say it.
Is that what it is?
You know what? I'll say it with you. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. Look up that interview.
I'm crying.
I love that man. On top of that, yes, his character, and he played it very well. It was drunkard, but they did a very good thing in allowing us to see what was like the pain behind it, like what causes him to be a drunkard, why he wants to escape so much.
Yeah, losing his friends to the prison system.
Losing his friends to Jim Crow, like, you know, and some of his friends dying after a big win that they had, and it was beautifully done, that story. And I think, again, do you see how they did that storytelling, and it was a slight touch, it was very light hand, but it got so much through to you? They could have done the same thing with the Native Americans in that aspect. You know what I mean? They could have done the same thing in a very light touch kind of way. We're not, you know, we're just making, like, tying up loose ends.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, for me, I really don't have too many complaints about this film. I love the ending.
I hated the ending. Hated it. Everything else was great. I didn't like after the credits rolled and it's like, ooh, Samuel, you know, years, decades.
Hey guys, so sorry about that. The video cut off, but Raina was saying that she definitely didn't like the ending, how they kind of jumped to the future with Michael B. Jordan's character and Grace's character and meeting the older Samuel. I really enjoyed that aspect of it. I think it ties back to kind of old vampire movies because the vampire lore was really there, and I think it was just kind of a top hat off to, you know, the originals, the OG films centered around this type of lore. But yeah, I gave it a 4.7. Raina gave it a 4.0 wine glasses. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Sorry again about the cutoff, guys. Bye.